2 years ago, Sony released the XM4, and since then almost everyone thought about how Sony was going to one-up them with the next version of their premium earbuds. And finally, we don't have to wait any longer. Here's my complete review about the Sony WF-1000XM5s, the most eagerly awaited earbuds I have actually ever encountered, and in most categories, also the best ones. Let's begin by stating the obvious facts. These are gorgeous and glossy, and most of its exterior looks and feels premium. And they are much smaller than the XM4s, and they are shaped slightly different, and they are also more slippery due to the new material, so getting them out of the case is a bit harder than before. And hopefully they don't have the same shitty battery issue that the XM4s had and still have. If you want to learn more about that, I linked to the Reddit thread containing all the infos. It's a very interesting read. Back to topic. Sony made them lighter and smaller than the XM4s, and they also changed the internal structure of the ear tips as well, making these much more comfortable to wear. And they are now easier to actually get into your ears, making these have a tighter seal and therefore better ANC capabilities in the end. Not that they would have actually needed that, but more on that in a second. Also, for all you people who have extra small ears, Sony finally added a pair of super small ear tips into the box. These are marked with different colors, which makes it easier to distinguish when choosing your preferred size. Now, as mentioned previously, better isolation and sealing makes for better active noise cancellation. And wow, these actually perform this time around. Making a direct comparison with all earbuds I have in my studio right now, which is actually quite a lot, these have the best ANC performance, even better than my previous favorite, the AirPods Pro 2, which in my opinion, for such a small earbud, already had a fantastic ANC. Sony itself says it's around 20% better than the XM4s in terms of ANC. And I don't know if this is accurate, but they are great no matter the percentage values. It feels like everything I loved about their bigger brothers, the WH-1000XM5, so the over-ear headphones ANC, now comes actually in a smaller package. Unfortunately, at the same price point of 390 euros in Germany, which is quite a lot of money for a pair of earbuds. So all this new noise cancellation goodness comes from the new V2 processor, as well as the new QN2E HD noise cancelling processor, as well as 3 instead of 2 mics on the older model. So all in all, the noise cancellation is the best feature on these earbuds. But let's get to the rest of the features and then talk a bit about what I did not like and why I think you should or should not actually get them right now. Sony finally managed to add Multipoint directly from the get-go, which is very much appreciated. It worked very well between my iPhone 13 and the MacBook Pro while playing music on one device and watching a video on the other. Also on board this year is the adaptive sound control, which filters out certain ambient sounds depending on where you are at the moment and what you're actually doing. And also the speak to chat functionality is here again, which drops down your music as well as ANC as soon as you actually begin talking. I'm not a fan of this, since I oftentimes begin cursing while editing or watching a movie with the headphones on, and then everything goes into speak mode. But I'm glad that you can actually disable it directly in the app. It's one of the first things I'm actually always doing. Now the touch controls on the XM4s, how do I say that politely, they were lackluster. But this time around, Sony learned from its mistakes and gave you everything you could need in one new shiny package. You can now touch yourself, that sounded weird, through the playback, sound modes and volumes at the same time on your earbuds directly. Volume, for example, is done by tapping the left earbud multiple times for volume down and the right one for up. Much better than what we actually got before. And to have more of this ANC prowess in an earbud, Sony was kind enough to give the XM5s the best battery life in a top-of-the-class earbud yet. 8 hours of constant use with Bluetooth connection as well as activated ANC and at 50% volume of playback. These are actually fantastic numbers, even though it's the same as the XM4s claimed. But don't forget, they upped the ANC functionality by 20% I guess, and it's still 2 hours more than the closest rivals. So this is very fair in my opinion and very good. Now, sound quality and reproduction. And yes, sound is always subjective. Everyone has their own preferences, everyone hears stuff different. Ears are the same as cake to me. Everyone wants something different on top in the end, but the base layer is mixed out mostly with the same ingredients. Why am I making such stupid analogies about cake in the XM5s? Because this is where Sony actually changed the recipe after 4 different versions of their earbuds. Not only has Sony added a new driver, which they call the Dynamic Driver X, which somehow sounds to me like a comic book villain from a Michael Valin book, and is now 8.4mm big instead of the 6.4 we had in the previous version. But that isn't everything. Sony also changed what was actually typical about the Sony XM earbuds and made it into something new. Now, if this is good or a disaster, should actually be judged by everyone themselves while giving it a test drive. But in my opinion, and therefore for my taste reference to the cake, yeah, they finally concentrated on what a class-leading earbud should be focused towards: clarity and details. The new XM5 lost quite a bit of let's call it richness for lack of better terms when it comes to bass, but added a whole lot of other things into the now created, well, emptiness. To hammer this point home as well, if you are a bass head, you should go for the Bose Quiet Comfort 2 earbuds or even the predecessors, the XM4s. But when comparing the two, you almost feel like the XM5s are very clear and open for lack of terms, while all the other buds are a bit muffled and clogged. It's an interesting feeling that I had while testing, and at first I thought these new Sony sound, well, kind of underwhelming. But no, I was just used to bass heavy earbuds which I was actually testing before. But as always, I still think the Neural 3 Pro earbuds, which are now called actually unparalleled Pro, since they have been bought up by that company, in comparison have the best tuning when it comes to sound reproduction in high-end earbuds due to their personalized technology. Call quality is also a subjective thing in my opinion. So as always with my test, I've recorded a small sample of audio and let you decide if what you hear is good enough for what you need in your daily life. But before we do that, Sony added a fun little way to now accept or decline actual calls, which you can now test drive in the Sony's headphones app. Not to actually accept calls or shake your head to decline them. This is such a logical thing that I actually don't know why no one else has implemented that yet.
Here's a test with the Sony 1000XM5s, and I'm talking about The Last Days of American Crime, which is a very nice book that you should actually take a look at. And I'm talking to you now in my native language. Verbrechen zahlt sich nicht aus. Berufskriminelle wie Graham Brick lassen sich mit Sätzen wie diesen nur schwer beeindrucken. Doch nun hat die US-Regierung das perfekte Mittel gefunden, Verbrechen zu verhindern.
These have actually been the main features, and I don't think I need to go in every little detail. You can actually find that out by yourself. So what's my conclusion now? Now that I actually had some time playing around with them, enjoying the new XM5s. Well, they actually lack nothing, weird to say. That is something I wouldn't have actually expected. They feel like a continuous evolution when it comes to Sony earbuds, with clear tweaks and pops here and there, and a determined focus on making this actually the best damn earbuds to buy on the market every 2 years. The only thing I actually really dislike is the price point. 390 euros for a true wireless earbud, even though this is a fantastic piece of tech, is way too much money in my opinion, especially since you are getting the WH-1000XM5s for the same price tag. But I guess that's how it is from now on. Let's see what Sony has planned for the 1000XM6 in 2 years. I'm actually looking forward to it. So as always, my name is Leech and I'm off writing the next scripts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel. There are plenty more of this type of content and many other things available for you to watch. Have a great day, see you around, and goodbye.